Ya, assalamualaikum. Assalamualaikum, sisters.
Walaikum
How are you
salam.
doing? How are you doing this morning? I pray all is well with you all.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there anyone that would like to pray this morning?
Assalamu alaikum, Sister Ahmadine. I can open up.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Prayer. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, all praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and thee alone do we beseech for help. Guide us on the right path, the path upon those whom thou hast bestowed favors, not the path upon those whom thy wrath has brought down, nor of those who go astray after they heard thy teachings. O Allah, surely I am turning myself to thee, striving to be upright, to the one who originated the heavens and the earth, and I am not from among the polytheists, and I am of those who submit. I have been greatly unjust to myself, and I confess my faults. So please grant me protection against all of my faults, for none grants protection against faults but thee, and guide me into the best of morals, for none can guide into the best of morals but thee, and keep away from me the evil and the indecent morals, for none can keep away from me the evil and the indecent morals but thee. Amen.
Thank you so much for your prayers, Sister Beatrice. All praise be to Allah. So as we start, is there anyone that would like to read this morning? Is there anyone that would like to read?
Sister Ahmadine, I can open up. I can begin to read. I just need to find where we left off at yesterday.
Can you please say it again? I didn't hear all of it.
Oh, yes, ma'am. I can begin to read. I just need to find where we left off yesterday.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Okay. So let me open up. Okay, we stopped at chapter 35. And we can start with verse 15. We stopped at 14, so we can start at verse 15. 1 second. I'm going to mute myself and then you can start. Oh, I forgot a part that's very, very important. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but Allah, who came in the person of Mustafa and Muhammad. And I bear witness that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is the exalted Christ, and the Honorable Minister Farrakhan is our Messiah and Jesus in our midst. Assalamu alaikum. I'm going to mute myself and then you can start, sis.
Yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Most Merciful. Section 3, a new generation will be raised. O men, it is you that have need of Allah, and Allah is self-sufficient, the praised one. If he please, he will remove you and bring a new creation, and this is not hard to Allah. And no burdened soul can bear another's burden. And if one weighed down by a burden calls another to carry his load, naught of it will be carried, even though he be near of kin. Thou warnest only those who fear their Lord in secret and keep up prayer, And whoever purifies himself only for his own good, and to Allah is the eventual coming. And the blind and the seeing are not alike, nor the darkness and the light, nor the shade and the heat. Neither are the living and the dead alike. Surely Allah makes whom he pleases hear, and thou canst make those who hear who are in the graves. Thou art not but a warner. Surely we have sent thee with the truth as a bearer of good news and a warner. And there is not a people, but a warner has gone among them, And if they reject thee, those before them also rejected. Their messengers came to them with clear arguments and with scriptures and with the illuminating book. Then I seized those who disbelieved. So how terrible was my disapproval. Section 4, the elect. See thou not that Allah sends down water from the clouds, then we bring forth therewith fruits of various hues, and the mountains are streaks, white and red, and of various hues, and others intensely black, and of men and beasts and cattle there are various colors likewise. Those of his servants only who are possessed of knowledge fear Allah. Surely Allah is mighty, forgiving. Surely those who recite the book of Allah and keep up prayer and spend out of what we have given them secretly and openly hope for gain which perishes not. That he may pay them back fully their rewards and give them more out of his grace. Surely he is forgiving, multiplier of reward. And that which we have revealed to thee of the book, that is the truth, verifying that which is before it. Surely Allah is aware, seer of his servants. Then we have given the book as inheritance to those whom we have chosen from among our servants. So of them is he who wrongs himself, and of them is he who takes a middle course, and of them is he who foremost in deeds of goodness by Allah's permission. That is the great grace. Gardens of purity, which they enter. They are made to wear therein bracelets of gold and pearls, and their dresses therein is silk. And they say, praise be to Allah, who has removed grief from us. Surely our Lord is forgiving, multiplier of reward, who out of his grace has made us a light in a house abiding forever. Therein toil touches us not, nor does fatigue afflict us therein. Who out of his grace has made us a light in a house abiding forever. Therein toil touches us not, nor does fatigue afflict us therein. And those who disbelieve, for them is fire of hell. It is not finished with them so that they should die, nor is chastisement thereof lightened to them. Thus we deal retribution on every ungrateful one, and therein they cry for scour. Our Lord, take us out. We will do good deeds other than those which we used to do. We do not give you life long enough for him to be mindful who would mind. And there came to you the warner, so taste, because for the iniquitous there is no helper. Section 5, punishment due to evil deeds. Surely Allah is the knower of the unseen in the heavens and the earth. Surely he is knower of what is in the hearts. He it is who made you successors in the earth. So whoever disbelieves, his disbelief is against him, and their disbelief increases the disbelievers with their Lord in naught but hatred, and their disbelief increases the disbelievers in naught but loss. Say, have you seen your associates which you call upon besides Allah? Show me what you have created of the earth, or have they any share in the heavens? Or have we given them a book so that they follow a clear argument thereof? Nay, the wrongdoers hold out promises one to another only to deceive. Surely Allah upholds the heaven and the earth, lest they come to naught. And if they come to naught, none can uphold them after him. Surely he is ever forbearing, forgiving. And they swore by Allah, their strongest oaths, that if a warner came to them, they would be better guided than any of the nations. But when a warner came to them, it increased them in naught but aversion, behaving proudly in the land and planning evil. And the evil plan besets none save the authors of it. So they wait for naught but the way of the ancients. But thou wilt find no alteration in the course of Allah, and thou wilt find no change in the course of Allah. Have they not traveled in the land and seen what was the end of those before them? And they were stronger than those in power. And Allah is not such that anything in the heavens or in the earth can escape him. Surely he is ever knowing, powerful. And were Allah to punish men for what they earn, he would not leave on the back of it any creature, but he respites them till an appointed term. So when their doom comes, then surely Allah is ever seer of his servants. Chapter 36, Yasin. Section 1, the truth of the Quran. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, O man, by the Quran, full of wisdom, surely thou art one of the messengers on a right way, a revelation of the Mighty, the Merciful, that thou mayest warn a people whose fathers were not warned, so they are heedless. The word has indeed proved true of most of them, so they believe not. Surely we have placed on their necks chains reaching up to the chins, so they have their heads raised aloft. And we have set a barrier before them and a barrier behind them. Thus we have covered them so that they see not. And it is alike to them whether thou warn them or warn them not. They believe not. Thou canst warn him only who follows the reminder and fears the Beneficent in secret. So give him good news of forgiveness and a generous reward. Surely we give life to the dead, and we write down that which they send before and their footprints, and we record everything in a clear writing. Section 2, confirmation of truth. And set out to them a parable of the people of the town when apostles came to it. When we sent to them two, they rejected them both. Then we strengthened them with a third. So they said, surely we are sent to you. They said, you are only mortals like ourselves, nor has the Beneficent revealed anything. You only lie. They said, our Lord knows that we are surely sent to you, and our duty is only a clear deliverance of the message. They said, surely we argue evil from you. If you detest not, we will surely stone you, and a painful chastisement from us will certainly afflict you. They said, your evil fortune is with you. What? If you are reminded, nay, you are an extravagant people. And from the remote part of the city, there came a man running. He said, oh, my people, follow the apostles. Follow him who asks of you no reward, and they are on the right course. Part 23. And what reason have I that I should not serve him who created me and to whom you will be brought back? Shall I take besides him gods whose intercession, if if the beneficent should desire to afflict me with harm, will avail me not, nor can they deliver me. Then I shall surely be in a clear error. Surely I believe in your Lord, so hear me. It was said, enter the garden. He said, would that my people knew how my Lord has forgiven me and made me of the honored ones. And he sent not down upon his people after him any hosts from heaven, nor do we ever send. It is not but a single cry, and lo, they were still. Alas, for the servants, never does a messenger come to them, but they mock him. See how, see they, see they not how many generations we destroyed before them, that they may return not to them? And all, surely all will be brought before us. Section 3, signs of truth. And a sign to them is the dead earth, and we give life to it and bring forth from it grain so that they eat of it. And we make therein gardens of date palms and grapes, and we make springs to flow therein, and they may eat of the fruit thereof, and their hands made it not. Will they not then give thanks? Glory be to him who created pairs of all things, and of and what the earth grows, and of their kind, and of what they know not. And a sign to them is the night. We draw forth from it the day, then lo, they are in darkness. And the sun moves on to its destination. That is the ordinance of the mighty, the knower. And the moon we have ordained for its stages till it becomes again as an old date palm branch. Neither is it for the sun to overtake the moon, nor can the night outstrip the day, and all float on its own, and all float on in an orbit. And a sign to them is that we bear their offsprings in a laden ship, and we have created for them the like thereof, whereon they ride. And if we please, we may drown them. Then there is no scour for them, nor can they be rescued. But but by mercy from us, and for enjoyment till a time. And when it is said to them, guard against that which is before you and that which is behind you, that mercy may be shown to you. And there comes to them no message of the messages of their Lord, but they turn away from it. And when it is said to them, spend out of that which Allah has given you, those who disbelieve say to those who believe, shall we feed him whom, if Allah please, he could feed? You are in naught but clear error. And they say, when will this promise come to pass if you are truthful? They await but a single cry, which will overtake them while they contend. So they will not be able to make a bequest, nor will they return to their families. Section 4, reward and punishment. And the trumpet is blown when lo, from their graves they will hasten unto their Lord. Then they will say, oh, woe to us, who has raised us up from the sleeping place. This is what the beneficent promised, and the messengers told the truth. It is but a single cry when lo, they were all brought before us. So this day no soul is wronged in aught, and you are not rewarded aught but for what you did. Surely the owners of the garden are on that day in a happy occupation. They and their wives are in shades, reclining on raised couches. They have fruits therein, and they have whatever they desire. Peace, a word from a merciful Lord, and withdraw today, O guilty ones. Did I not charge you, O children of Adam, that you serve not the devil? Surely he is your open enemy, and that you serve me. This is the right way. and certainly he led astray numerous people from among you. Could you not then understand? This is the hell which you were promised. Enter it this day because you disbelieved. That day we shall seal their mouths, and their hands will speak to us, and their feet will bear witness to what they have earned. And if we please, we should put out their eyes, then they would strive to get first to the way, but how should they see? And if we pleased, we would transform them in their place, then they would not be able to go on and turn back, excuse me. Section 5, the resurrection. And whosoever we cause to live long, we reduce to an abject state in creation. Do they not understand? And we have not taught him poetry, nor is it meet for him. This is not but a reminder in a plain Quran to warn him who would have life, and that the word may prove true against the disbelievers. See they not that we have created cattle for them out of what our hands have wrought, so they are their masters, and we have subjected them to them. So some of them ride, and some of them they eat, and therein they have advantages and drinks. Will they not then give thanks? And they take gods besides Allah, that they may be helped. They are not able to help them, and they are a host brought up before them. So let not their speech grieve thee. Surely we know what they do in secret and what they do openly. Does not man see that we have created him from a small life germ? Then lo, he is an open disputant, and he strikes out a likeness from us, and he forgets his own creation. Says he, who will give life to the bones when they are rotten? Say, he will give life to them who brought them into existence at first, and he is knower of all creation, who produced fire for you out of the green tree, so that with it you kindle. Is it not he who created the heavens and the earth, able to create the like of them? Yea, and he is the creator of all, the knower. His command, and he intends anything, it is only said, it is, it, excuse me, his command, he intends anything, is only to say to it be, and it is. So glory be to him in whose hands is the kingdom of all things, and to him you will be returned.
Thank you, Sister.
Do you want me to continue, Sister Ahmadine?
I can do the next chapter. Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much, sis. I
Yes,
appreciate you.
Mhm.
In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I commence to read Surah Al-Safat, those who set the ranks. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, by those ranging in ranks, and those who restrain holding in restraint, and those who recite the reminder. Surely your God is one, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and what is between them, and the Lord of the eastern lands. Surely we have adorned the lower heaven with an adornment, the stars, and there is a safeguard against every rebellious devil. They cannot listen to the exalted assembly, and they are reproached from every side, driven off, and for them is a perpetual chastisement, except him who snatches away but once, then there follows him a brightly shining flame. So ask them whether they are stronger in creation or those others whom we have created. Surely we created them of firm clay. Nay, thou wonderest while they mock. And when they are reminded, they mind not. And when they see a sign, they seek to scoff and say, this is nothing but clear enchantment. When we are dead and have become dust and bones, shall we then be raised, or our fathers of yore? Say, yea, and you will be humiliated. So it will be but one cry when lo, they will see. And they will say, oh, woe to us. This is the day of requital. This is the day of judgment, which you called a lie. Gather together those who did wrong and their associates and what they worship besides Allah. Then lead them to the way to hell and stop them, for they shall be questioned. What is the matter with you that you help not one another? Nay, on that day they will be submissive, and some of them will turn to others mutually questioning, saying, surely you used to come to us from the right side. They will say, nay, you yourselves were not believers, and we had no authority over you, but you were an inordinate people. So the word of our Lord has proved true against us. We shall surely taste. We led you astray, for we ourselves were erring. So that day they will be sharers in the chastisement. Thus do we deal with the guilty. They indeed were arrogant when it was said to them, there is no God but Allah, and said, shall we give up our gods for a mad poet? Nay, he had brought the truth and verifies the messengers. Surely you will taste a painful chastisement, and you are requited not, but for what you did. Save the servants of Allah, the purified ones. For them is a known sustenance, fruits, and they are honored in gardens of delight, on thrones facing each other. A bowl of running water will be made to go round them, white, delicious to those who drink. It deprives not of reason, nor are they exhausted therewith. And with them are those modest in gaze, having beautiful eyes. And if they were eggs, as if they were eggs carefully protected. Some of them will turn to others, questioning mutually. A speaker of them will say, surely I had a comrade who said, art thou indeed of those who accept? When we are dead and have become dust and bone, shall we then be requited? He will say, will you look? Then he looked down and saw him in the midst of hell. He will say, by Allah, thou hadst almost caused me to perish. And had it not been for favor of my Lord, I should have been amongst those brought up. Except our previous death, and are we not to be chastised? Surely this is the mighty achievement. For the like of this, then let the workers work. Is this the better entertainment, or the tree of Zakum? Surely we have made it a trial for the wrongdoers. It is a tree that grows in the bottom of hell. Then truly they will eat of it and fill their bellies with it. Then surely they shall have after it a drink of boiling water. Then their turn is surely to the flaming fire. They indeed found their fathers astray. So in their footsteps they are hastening on. And most of the ancients surely went astray before them. And indeed we sent among them warners. Then see what was the end of those warned, except the servants of Allah, the purified ones. And Noah certainly called upon us, and an excellent answer of prayers are we. And its produce is as it were the heads of serpent, and we delivered him and his people from the great distress. and made his offsprings the survivors, and left for him praise among the later generations. Peace be to Noah among the nations. Thus indeed do we reward the doers of good. Surely he was of our believing servants. Then we drowned the others. And surely of his party was Abraham, when he came to his Lord with a secure heart. When he said to his sire and his people, "What is it that you worship? A lie, gods besides Allah. Do you desire? What is then your idea about the Lord of the worlds?" Then he glanced a glance at the stars and said, "Surely I am sick of your deities." So they turned their backs on him, going away. Then he turned to their gods and said, "Do you not eat? What is the matter with you that you speak not?" So he turned upon them, smiting with the right hand. Then they came to him, hastening. He said, "Do you worship that which you hew out? And Allah has created you and what you make." They said, "Build for him a building, then cast him into the flaming fire." And they designed a plan against him, but we brought them low. And he said, "Surely I flee to my Lord, he will guide me. My Lord grant me a doer of good deeds." So we gave him the good news of a forbearing son. But when he became of age to work, with him, he said, "O my son, I have seen in a dream that I should sacrifice thee. So consider what thou seest." He said, "O my father, do as thou art commanded. If Allah please, thou wilt find me patient." So when they both submitted, and he had thrown him down upon his forehead, and we called out to him, saying, "O Abraham, thou hast indeed fulfilled the vision. Thus do we reward the doers of good." Surely this is a manifest trial, and we ransomed him with a great sacrifice, and we granted him among the later generations the salutation, "Peace be to Abraham." Thus do we reward the doers of good. Surely he was one of our believing servants, and we gave him the good news of Isaac, a prophet, a righteous one. And we blessed him and Isaac, and of them and of their offsprings, some are doers of good, but some are clearly unjust to themselves. And certainly we conferred a favor on Moses and Aaron, and we delivered them and their people from the mighty distress. And we helped them, so they were the vanquishers. And we gave them both the clear book, and we guided them on the right way. And we granted them among the later generations the salutation, "Peace be to Moses and Aaron." Thus do we reward the doers of good. Surely they were both of our believing servants, and Elias was surely of those sent, when he said to his people, "Will you not guard against evil? Do you call upon Baal and forsake the best of the creators, Allah, your Lord, and the Lord of your fathers of yore?" But they rejected him, so they shall be brought up, but not the servants of Allah, the purified ones. And we granted him among the later generations the salutation, "Peace be to Elias." Even thus we reward the doers of good. Surely he was one of our believing servants, and Lot was surely of those sent, when we delivered him and his people, all except an old woman among those who remained behind. Then we destroyed the others. And surely you pass by them in the morning and at night. Do you not then understand? and Jonah was surely of those sent. When he fled to the laden ship, so he shared with others, but was of those cast away. So the fish took him into its mouth while he was blamable. But had he not been of those who glorify us, he would have tarried in its belly till the day when they are raised. Then we cast him on the naked shore while he was sick, and we caused a gourd to grow up for him, and we sent him to 100,000 and more. And they believed. So we gave them provision till a time. Now ask them whether thy Lord has daughters and they have sons. Or did we create the angels female while they witnessed? Now surely it is of their own lie that they say Allah has begotten, and truly they are liars. Has he preferred daughters to sons? What is the matter with you? How you judge? Will you not then mind? Or have you a clear authority? Then bring your book if you are truthful. And they assert a relationship between him and the jinn. And certainly the jinn know that they will be brought up for judgment. Glory be to Allah for what they describe, but not so the servant of Allah, the purified ones. So surely you and that which you serve, not against him, can you cause any to fall into trial. Save him who will burn in the flaming fire. And there is none of us but has an assigned place, and verily we are ranged in ranks, and we truly glorify him. And surely they used to say, had we a reminder from those of yore, we would have been sincere servants of Allah. But now they disbelieve in it, so they will come to know. And certainly our word has already gone forth to our servants, to those sent, that surely they will be helped. And our hosts, surely they will be triumphant. So turn away from them till a time and watch them. They too will see. Will they hasten on our chastisement? So when it descends in their court, evil will be the mourning of the warned ones. And turn away from them till a time and watch, for they too will see. Glory be to thy Lord, the Lord of might, above what they describe, and peace be to those sent, and praise be to Allah, the Lord of the worlds. Chapter 38, Sad, the letter Sad. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. Truthful God, by the Quran possessing eminence. Nay, those who disbelieve are in self-exaltation and opposition. How many a generation we destroyed before them? Then they cried when there was no longer time for escape. And they wonder that a warner from among themselves has come to them. And the disbelievers say, this is an enchanter, a liar. Make he the gods a single God? Surely this is a strange thing. And the chiefs among them say, go and steadily adhere to your gods. Surely this is a thing intended. We never heard of this in the former faith. This is nothing but a forgery. Has the reminder been revealed to him from among us? Nay, they are in doubt as to my reminder. Nay, they have not yet tasted my chastisement. Oh, have they the treasure of the mercy of thy Lord, the mighty, the great giver? Or is it the kingdom of the heavens and the earth, and what is between them theirs? Then let them rise higher in means. What an army of the allies is here but to flight. No, what an army of the allies is here put to flight. The people of Noah and Ahad and Pharaoh, the Lord of hosts, rejected prophets before them. And Thamud and the people of Lot and the dwellers of the thicket. These were the parties opposing truth. Not one of them but rejected the messenger. So just was my retribution. And these wait but for one cry, wherein there is no delay. And they say, Our Lord, hasten on for us our portion before the day of reckoning. Bear patiently what they say, and remember our servant David, the possessor of power. He ever turned to Allah. Truly, we made the mountains subject to him, glorifying Allah at nightfall and sunrise. And the birds gathered together. All were obedient to him. And we strengthened his kingdom, and we gave him wisdom and a clear judgment. And has the story of the adversaries come to thee? When they made an entry into the private chamber by climbing the wall, when they came upon David, so he was afraid of them, they said, Fear not, two litigants of whom one has wronged the other. So decide between us with justice and act not unjustly and guide us to the right way. This is my brother. He has 99 ewes and I have a single ewe. Okay, it's a female sheep. Then he said, Make it over to me. And he has prevailed against me in dispute. He said, Surely he has wronged thee in demanding thy ewe. I'm just going to make sure. You. Okay, you. And surely many partners wrong one another, save those who believe and do good. And very few are they. And David knew that we had tried him. So he asked his Lord for protection, and he fell down bowing and turned to God. So we gave him this protection, and he had a nearness to us and an excellent resort. O David, surely we have made thee a ruler in the land. So judge between men justly, and follow not desire, lest it lead thee astray from the path of Allah. Those who go astray from the path of Allah, for them is surely a severe chastisement because they forgot the day of reckoning. And we created not the heaven and the earth and what is between them in vain. What is the opinion of those who disbelieve? So woe to those who disbelieve on account of the fire. Shall we treat those who believe and do good like the mischief makers in the earth, or shall we make the dutiful like the wicked? This is a book that we have revealed to thee, abounding in good, that they may ponder over its verses, and that the men of understanding may mind. And we gave to David Solomon, most excellent the servant. Surely he ever turned to Allah. When well-bred, swift horses were brought to him at evening, so he said, I love the good things on account of the remembrance of my Lord, until they were hidden behind the veil. He said, Bring them back to me. So he began to stroke their legs and necks. And certainly we tried Solomon, and we put on his throne a mere body. So he turned to Allah. He said, My Lord, forgive me, and grant me a kingdom which is not fit for any other after me. Surely thou art the great giver. So we made the wind subservient to him, It made his command to run gently wherever he desired. And the devils, every builder and diver, and other fettered in chain. This is our free gift. So give freely and withhold without reckoning. And surely he had a nearness to us and an excellent resort. And remember our servant Job, when he cried to his Lord, the devil has afflicted me with toil and torment. Urge with thy foot. Here is a cool washing place and a drink. And we gave him his people and the like of them with them, and mercy from us, and a reminder for men of understanding. And take in thy hand few worldly goods, and earn goodness therewith, and incline not to falsehood. Surely we found him patient, most excellent the servant. Surely he ever turned to us. And remember our servants, Abraham and Isaac and Jacob, men of power and insight. We indeed purified them by a pure quality, the keeping in mind of the final abode. And surely they were with us of the elect the best. And remember Ishmael and Elisha and Joel, and they were all of the best. This is a reminder, and surely there is an excellent resort for the dutiful, gardens of perpetuity. The doors are open for them, reclining therein, calling therein for many fruits and drink. And with them are those modest in gaze, equals in age. This is what you are promised for the day of reckoning. Surely this is our sustenance. It will never come to an end. This is for the good, and surely there is an evil resort for the inordinate. Hell, they will enter it. So evil is the resting place. This, so let them taste it, boiling and intensely cold drink, and other similar punishment of various sorts. This is an army rushing headlong with you, no welcome for them. Surely they will burn in fire. They say, nay, you, no welcome to you. You prepared it for us. So evil is the resting place. They say, our Lord, whoever prepared it for us, give him more, a double punishment in the fire. And they say, what is the matter with us? We see not men whom we used to count among the vicious. Did we only take them in scorn, or do our eyes miss them? That surely is the truth, the contending one with another of the inmate of the fire. Say, I am only a warner, and there is no God but Allah, the one, the subduer of all, the Lord of the heavens and the earth, and what is between them, the mighty, the forgiving. Say, it is a message of importance from which you turn away. I have no knowledge of the exalted chiefs when they contend. Only this is revealed to me, that I am a plain warner. When thy Lord said to the angels, surely I am going to create a mortal from dust. So when I have made him complete and breathed into him of my spirit, fall down submitting to him. And the angels submitted, all of them, but not Iblis. He was proud and he was of the disbelievers. He said, O Iblis, what prevented thee from submitting to him whom I created with both my hands? Art thou proud, or art thou of the exalted ones? He said, I am better than he. Thou hast created me of fire, and him thou didst create of dust. He said, go forth from hence. Surely thou art driven away. And surely my curse is on thee to the day of judgment. He said, my Lord, respite me to the day that they are raised. He said, he said, surely thou art of the respited ones, till the day of the time made known. He said, then by thy might I will surely lead them all astray, except thy servants from among them, the purified ones. He said, the truth is, and the truth I speak. He said, the truth is, and the truth I speak, that I shall fill hell with thee and with all those among them who follow thee. Say, I ask you no reward for it, nor am I of the impostors. It is not but a reminder to the nations, but certainly you will come to know about it after a time. Chapter 39, Az-Zumar, the troops. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. The revelation of the book is from Allah, the Mighty, the Wise. Surely we have revealed to thee the book with truth, so serve Allah, being sincere to Him in obedience. Now surely sincere obedience is due to Allah alone, and those who choose protectors besides Him say, we serve them only that they might bring us nearer to Allah. Surely Allah would judge between them in that in which they differ. Surely Allah guides not him who is a liar, ungrateful. If Allah desired to take a son to himself, he could have chosen those he pleased out of those whom he has created. Glory be to him. He is Allah, the one, the subduer of all. He has created the heavens and the earth with truth. He makes the night cover the day and makes the day overtake the night. And he has made the sun and the moon subservient. Each one moves on to an assigned term. Now surely he is the mighty, the forgiver. He created you from a single being, then made its mate of the same kind, and he sent down for you 8 of the cattle in pairs. He creates you in the wombs of your mothers, creation after creation, in triple darkness. That is Allah, your Lord. His is the kingdom. There is no God but He. How are you then turned away? If you are ungrateful, then surely Allah is above need of you, and He likes not ungratefulness in His servants. And if you are grateful, He likes it for you, and no bearer of a burden will bear another's burden. Then to your Lord is your return. Then will He inform you of what you did. Surely He is knower of what is in the breasts. And when distress afflicts a man, he calls upon his Lord, turning to him. Then when he grants him a favor upon him, no. Then when he grants him a favor from him, he forgets that for which he called upon him before, and sets up rivals to Allah, that he may cause men to stray from his path. Say, enjoy thine ungratefulness for a little. Surely thou art of the companions of the fire. Is he who is obedient during hours of the night, prostrated himself and standing, taking care of the hereafter, and hoping for the mercy of his Lord? Say, are those who know and those who know not alike only men of understanding mind? Say, O my servants who believe, keep your duty to your Lord. For those who do good in this world is good, and Allah's earth is spacious. Truly, the steadfast will be paid their reward without measure. Say, I am commanded to serve Allah, being sincere to Him in obedience, and I am commanded to be the first of those who submit. Say, I fear if I disobey my Lord, the chastisement of a grievous day. Say, Allah I serve, being sincere to Him in my obedience. Serve then what you will beside Him. Say, the losers surely are those who lose themselves and their people on the day of resurrection. Now surely that is the manifest loss. They shall have coverings of fire above them and coverings beneath them. With that, Allah makes his servants to fear. So keep your duty to me, O my servants. And those who eschew, eschew, and those who eschew the worship of the idols and turn to Allah, for them is good news. So give good news to my servants who listen to the word, then follow the best of it. Such are they whom Allah has guided, and such are the men of understanding. He against whom the sentence of chastisement is due. The sentence of chastisement is due. Canst thou save him who is in the fire? But those who keep their duty to their Lord, for them are high places above them, higher places built for them, wherein rivers flow. It is the promise of Allah. Allah fails not in his promise. Seest thou that Allah sends down water from the clouds, then makes it go down into the earth in springs, then brings forth therewith herbage of various hues. Then then it withers so that thou seest it turn yellow. Then he makes it chaff. Surely there is a reminder in this for men of understanding.
Okay. That's the end of that section.
Oh, okay. Thank you so much, Sister Victoria. I'm gonna mark it for us. Thank you. Okay. 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 Is there anyone that has any comments today? Oh, Sister Mariam, I didn't see that you wrote reader. Sorry. Maybe tomorrow, inshallah. Does anyone have any comments? If you do, please go ahead and press 1 or raise your hand.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.
So I did have something that stood out to me near the very end. And it was chapter 39, verse 7. And it was right where he states, and if you are grateful, he likes it for you. And no bearer of a burden will bear another's burden. And I wrote in my notes here, don't allow yourself to be burdened by the deeds of others. This is self-inflicted. Allah desires for us to bear our own. And I think it's so easy for us to get caught up in what other people are doing, and we don't even realize that we are putting that burden on ourselves. Like it's not our place to be so concerned with what other people are doing and if they're going to get their just due and all of this kind of stuff, because it's not really our business. Like that is reserved for Allah. And so especially during a time now in social media where it's so easy to get caught up in other people's business, it's so easy to get caught up in other people's wrongdoings. This is just like, for me, it was a clear instruction to, I think we said this before on another chapter, mind your business. And not in a bad way, but just to like relieve our minds and live in peace. Because some of the things that we find ourselves wrapped up in are not of our own. And we waste so much time on that we get so much further away from that which is meant for us to have.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Thank you so much, Sister Victoria. That was really, really good. Um, Sister Mariama wrote business definition: a person's regular occupation, profession, or trade. Thank you, Sister Mariama, for that definition. Definitions are very, very much needed. um, for me, it's just noticing that it's all the time throughout the Quran, I see that Allah rewards the doers of good. And um and that Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Noah, Lot, Job, Moses, and Aaron all were the doers of good. They um what they repeat at all times, they were servants. They were servants of Allah, the purified ones. And thus do we reward the doers of good. And they keep saying that, and I find it's the repetition again that we were talking about yesterday. It's that repetition. Remember to do good. And it's like reading this every day, I know subconsciously it's in us when we go out in the world and walk outside and do what we have to do. It's in us, doers of good. Be of those who are doers of good, no matter how that is or how that feels when at the moment that we are faced with a situation. But I feel that, like, for me, I I remember, even if it's not a conscious reminder, like I don't consciously tell myself that all day, but I do when I am faced with something and I'm like, okay, what's the good reaction? What's the like mentally, I have like a mental note of what is the best way to deal with this. But that's it for me. Anyone, press the number 1 to please give your comments.
So I'm sorry, let me prep my
Go ahead, sis.
this is not like
We can't hear you, sister. Are you speaking?
can y'all hear me?
Yeah, now we can hear you, but we didn't hear you talk if you were talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was probably talking too low. So on chapter 38, verse 24, at the very end, it said, and David knew that we had tried him. So he asked his Lord for protection, and he fell down bowing and turned to God. And so, like, this is not directly from this passage because I don't think that it's talking about like when to pray. But what came to me was like, there was a request for protection in the midst of a trial. And I wrote here, it's not that we shouldn't go to him in trial, just not only in trial. And I think that sometimes like we get so caught up in this life thing, right? And it can be easy to forget a lot when life is, on the up and up. Sometimes it can be easy, right? And then we find ourselves in a trial. And then at that point, we believe that we are not worthy to go to him because when we were up, we forgot him. But to me, this was just a reminder that like, even during those times where we don't feel like we're worthy to go to him in prayer because we have been falling short on our duty, to still go to him in prayer and allow that to be the first step towards redeeming ourselves and being even more thankful when he does turn it around. Because like immediately he says, so we gave him this protection. You know what I mean? There was no waiting period. Not that he's just going to magically take us out of trial, but our prayers are still valid, no matter the measure of time.
All praise be to Allah. Very, very, very good, Sister Victoria. Thank you so much for that comment. Very much needed. Brother Demetrius, go ahead, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Walaikum salam.
Praise be to Allah. I just with what I did here this morning with you all, I also took in what you was talking about, Sister Amandine, just the simple reminder of the reward for the purified ones. You know what I mean? And I was reading in the Final Call newspaper. If I had it in front of me, I would read it verbatim. But Student Minister Ishmael was talking about the theme for this Savior's Day. And he was saying that each panel is centered around us putting on the whole armor of God to get through this time that we're getting ready to face. You know what I mean? And I feel like Allah's mercy is in that time where it's like you've been given so much, and it's like it's now or never for you to get it right. Like the Swan Song was, definitely a warning in itself to do that. And now it's like, okay, you about to go into war, so either you're gonna come out of the other side of it or not. But to put on that armor, I would say is synonymous with the purification, to protect every part of yourself from the Satan, internal and external. You know what I mean? And the reminder of I forget which verse it was that stood out to me when y'all was reading, but just the it says something basically to one of the servants being purified just by the reminder of the end, like the end of I think it said the good end.
I think it was the end of the abode or something.
Yes, I think you're right, sister. But yeah, that's what's been on my mind lately. So that's why that stood out to me. Like, do you really want to take that away from yourself? Like we always say that, or like the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, I should say, that some will get right to the door and turn around. You know what I mean? Like, we're going to the door as we speak. It's like, do you really want to be denied of being in that number that could see the other side of this, but you just couldn't contain yourself, and you wanted to continue to indulge in your sin or whatever it is, or you didn't study and you didn't take it seriously, and you let fear and doubt get into your heart and you stop believing. You know what I mean? But yeah, that's all I'll share. I'm at work again, but I'm glad I got to tune in.
Yes,
Assalamu alaikum.
sir. Thank you. Walaikum salam. That was really, really good too. Thank you, Brother Demetrius, for your comment. Did I see Sister Victoria, or was I
Yes,
wrong?
ma'am.
Okay, go ahead, sis.
In chapter 38, verse 32, it says, I love the good things on account of the remembrance of my Lord until they were hidden behind the veil. And that reminded me of like who we were as a people when we knew who we were versus after they took us and like damaged us and hid who we were. And it was just like a reminder that the path that we're going on right now, studying, being in spaces where we are speaking and learning more about Allah and the teachings, is our way of removing the veil that has been placed on us so that we can get back to the natural remembrance of Allah that we once had and the knowledge of ourselves that we once had. Like, I can truly say that throughout this process of reading the Quran and just like seeing things in black and white, and I think I said this yesterday, there's nothing like being able to see a thing for yourself where it's not hearsay, where you can actively say, there's a different level of confidence when you like believe that's what someone said is true versus knowing that it's true because you read it for yourself. And like this whole process has given me so much more confidence, so much more strength in the way of desiring to study during those times where I may not have felt like doing that before. And I think that like we're on the right path. The more that we dive into these teachings, the more that we learn about ourselves, we're removing that veil and undoing all of the work that was done against us to keep us subservient to our enemy. And that was just a reminder of that. Like, I love the good things on account of the remembrance of my Lord until they were hidden behind the veil. Like, sometimes it's so hard to see the blessing. And I'm so glad that, we submit to a teaching that reminds us, settle on the best part. It's easy to get lost and clouded behind what we think or what we feel or what we desire. But the reality is that everything has a negative and a positive. And the more you focus on the positive, the more you will see the positive. So I think for me, that little piece was just a reminder that we're headed in the right direction, and to just keep moving in that way, because then it will become easier for us to always be in remembrance of Allah, because that veil will be lifted.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Thank you, Sister Victoria. That was so needed and so good and so true. Praise be to Allah. Sister Beatrice, go ahead, sis.
Assalamu alaikum. Yes, Sister Victoria, that was very profound what you just said. I just have a quick comment about doers of good and doing good deeds. And I thought about this in the aspect of philanthropists. And when they're always giving of monetary funds, or doing fundraisers, or just giving, and that should always be a good thing. But for me, and my biggest thing with that is we should want to do good without expectation, even from Allah. Although that is the only reward that we should be seeking is his pleasure, is to be to be pleasing to him. But the reward should be the act of doing good because it's good. So to me, that's just a reminder to myself that we should always want to do good to others without the expectation of, well, if I do this, I'm going to get that. Because I see that a lot, people, they do things just to say, well, this is what I did, or they do things with the with the expectation of, okay, I'm gonna be at this certain level, or people are gonna see me in this kind of light, or, you know, without really, really focusing on the principle of why we give to begin with. You know, so even if it's, you know, Allah rewards the doers of good, it's not to say that Allah is going to reward you right there and then anyways. And to me, I don't ever want to be a doer of good just to expect something from Allah, because me waking up in the morning is a reward in itself. You know, I mean, he rewards me in so many ways, just having my sanity every day, just having a sound mind, being able to walk, being able to speak, being able to see. I mean, these are to me, there are blessings and rewards that we take for granted so much. So just to be able to be doers of good without the expectation of even expecting something from Allah. And two, that will also test you as to how pure your intentions are. So I hope that makes sense, but thank you for allowing me to share.
Oh, praise be to Allah. Yes, ma'am. That made total sense. And thank you so much. It was really good and a great reminder that yes, we're seeking Allah's pleasure, but yes, it's not always we're doing good because the good is in us, not just because we want something. Thank you, sis, for your comments. And Sister Mariama, go ahead, sis.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone.
Walaikum salam.
My thoughts are just they're swirling after the last few comments, because I think this ties into what I wanted to bring up, because I screenshotted so many pages, and I noticed that the constant theme that was, you know, capturing me this morning was the idea and the thought of true eminence. Excuse me. True eminence. And let me see. Let's well, I'll start here before I go to like my notes, but when I think about myself as a believer, like I've mentioned before that I was raised Muslim. I've been raised Muslim, but I joined the Nation of Islam a little over 10 years ago. Praise be to Allah. It's been one of the best things. It is the best decision, if not the first decision I've ever made in my life. Because when I think about what major decision that I made in my life, despite opposition, despite questioning, despite that's not been such a, like, you know, if I say, oh, I'm going to college or I'm going to do this, and, you know, people are usually like, okay. But joining the Nation of Islam has really, really, really blessed my life. And I say that to say that my whole life, I've always recognized that the benefit of being amongst the believers, of being a Muslim, is that the Muslims have conscience in terms of not that we're perfect, but we reflect. And the idea of looking back and reflecting on Allah's mercy on us and his maybe raising us to moments of eminence or that type of thing it's amazing. So I guess where I'm trying to go with this is like I think about, like Sister Victoria mentioned, the reading of the Quran has been essentially a blessing. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. And I'm so excited because in 2020 was the first time that I've ever read the Quran, like the Maulana Muhammad Ali version, with my husband through and through, not missing a day, through the whole entire Ramadan. We were enthused. We were all in the house. We had a new baby. He would never sleep past the moment, past like us beginning the book. Like he wanted to be in the vicinity every single morning. It was the most peculiar time, and it was hugely a blessing to our home. It literally was, our home was a heaven. And the minister was telling us that at that time, like that was the MGT's marching orders, to make your home a heaven. And the reading of the Quran brought that into our home for certain. It brought that, it gave us clear sight for each and every single day. Man, we were floating in an elevated place by the end of Ramadan 2020. And it was confirmed when the minister, Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, had given his, he spoke on the Ramadan prayer line, making home a heaven. That was marching orders from the minister. But when he spoke on the Ramadan prayer line that year, he said that he'd had a remarkable, really like a really special Ramadan as well. And that was confirmation for me at the time. Even though there were losses, like significant losses in the Nation of Islam, or I would say like a major loss at the time, it was still such an elevated feeling. So that being said, the day right after Eid, boom, like trial, you know what I'm saying? Like in terms of, my eyes were super open. Now, when I look back and I reflect and I see what's transpired over the next few years, and even some like a trial that that my husband and I are handling now, we've learned and we've gained new tools. It started the day right after the whole reading of the Quran for us, that I saw something very, very clear, like true colors in those who were around us. And for me, it was shocking. And I realized that with the reading of this book, it brings such clear sight, such good feelings. So it's just the truth, and that it's important to gird myself with this book. So, okay, I might have fallen off a little bit, after that, like, oh my goodness, just in the shock of that, like realization of what life was looking at like outside of our heaven, outside this house. So the next year I was like, okay, this Ramadan is going to be it, but there's never been a Ramadan just like that one. And so this year I had told myself, before Sister Amandine put out the call for this call, that I was like, I want to read the Quran. I want to read the Quran. I want to read the Quran. I know that Ramadan is coming up next. And so basically I need to rush this up. Like basically what I'm saying is, this call is such a blessing, because I myself feel so raised and lifted each and every single day because of the reading of this book. It's come so alive to me in such a different way. And I know now in my reflection, never to take it for granted, because what I felt in 2020 from reading of this book has been different. It's been different every other year. Even though we read the Quran, maybe I missed a day and then fell off last year, and then just so hard on self. And it's like, no, Allah wants ease for us. Okay, so that's gonna take me to my comment. Well, another thing too. So sister I think of Sister Beatrice, you were speaking about like acknowledgement, right? So for me, I've always been one of them people that's like, no, I don't want people to see my works, and just very meek and stuff. But what I realize is that serves not Allah, right? If I do not acknowledge the good things, this is even it starts for me in my home. I tell my husband this, I'm like, you're a very good man. You do a lot of good works, but you're not taking account of what you're doing. Therefore, you're just hard on yourself. As a believer, you work so hard. You sell the final call, you do this, you do that, you do that. Maybe you might have fallen off here, but daggone, excuse my language, father, husband, like you work so hard with what you can and what you like. So the little things, did you take out the trash? Like acknowledge yourself for that, And I realized that the believers have got to do it because the ability to do so means you got a house to take, the trash out or whatever the case is. It's the glorification of Allah, and that's what he wants, whether it's in secret or it's in public. And so that's something I still struggle with as far as acknowledging the bounties of Allah to others, because others will, they do it and they give it a bad name sometimes. But what I noticed that in this book, there's a separation. He talks about the believers and the disbelievers. And a lot of times, like, how do you know the difference? And I noticed, like, in reading it this time, that it's the script. He tells us what's in the hearts of the disbelievers and the believers. He's given us privy to their private counsel or their private, conversations. And I'm just thinking in terms of like, wow, what Allah is allowing me to see during the reading this month, that I'm so curious that starting off in this way, I'm so curious to what the reading of the Quran will do for my life in Ramadan next month. And so, okay, I'm gonna take it to the parts of the story. Excuse me for going so long, but there was a part, it was from Surah Yasin, chapter 36. Surely the owners of the garden are on that day in a happy occupation. They and their wives are in shades, reclining on raised couches. They have fruits therein, and they have whatever they desire. Peace, a word from a merciful Lord. And I'm like, ooh, that hit me. When I heard Sister reading that, I was like, ooh, my goodness, that is what I want. The believers should have that. Master Farah Muhammad came with silk. That's how he came. He came to the MGT first. And so I'm like, ooh, that's a reminder. We should have the best. We should be the best. And then the next part I saw was in, I think still Surah Yasin, verse 41. The verse that I was reading from was chapter 36, Surah 55, verse 55. And then, this part was it's on page 881. I don't know. I didn't capture what chapter it was from. I think chapter 37, verse 41. He tells us about the painful chastisement that he brings down. But then he, in another, token, like right after that, he says, save the servants of Allah, the purified ones. For them is a known sustenance, fruits, and they are honored, and gardens of delight on thrones facing each other. A bowl of running water will be made to go round them, white, delicious to those who drink. It deprives not of reason, nor are they exhausted therewith. I'm like, whew, okay. I'm hearing, so that last one I just read was chapter, I believe, 37, and that was verse 41 through 47. And then, and then it says in, I think this is the same chapter, I think 37, section 3, Noah and Abraham, verse 75. And Noah certainly called upon us, and an excellent answer of prayers are we. And we delivered him and his people from the great distress, and made his offspring the survivors. And so in that, I was like, man, he gave them like legacy. We still say their names today. And unfortunately, there's a sister who has transitioned in our city. May Allah be pleased with her. But because I'm on maternity, I'm like, who I can't imagine the face. And I'm like, I think I know who it is. And my husband's like, oh my goodness. No, if you were to see her face and and I'm like, my pregnancy brain, like, who is this? I don't want to focus on it, but I do want to acknowledge who the sister is, because I believe she was an older sister. And the thing is, I'm like, man. And so last night I literally was thinking about legacy, because the issue now is that the family is in a little bit of quarrel of how to properly acknowledge her life, because her family, they're Christians, and so there's a bit of contention of the homegoing service. And it was clarified for us that no, she was a Muslim and she worked and she lived a particular life. So our student minister here, he's going to go and represent her in the best manner, inshallah, was his intention that he shared with us last night. And I just said, my God, this is for me to see in my time period in terms of motherhood and parenting, because I want anyone who's in my circle to know that I am a Muslim, to know who I am, to know that my works have moved in a particular manner. And I want to be clear. This book talks about contracts and different things like that. And I'm like, man, how can I better, versus being so meek, which is not necessarily the worst thing, but in turn, the balance is so important. How do I make clear and how do I make certain that, our days, no one knows except for Allah. So how do I make certain that it is clear that I was a Muslim? And then I think about, and it's been mentioned already, about good works. So I think that's the rest of the things that I had. The next part is in, this was still, I think chapter 37, verse 100, Noah and Abraham. And it says, my Lord, grant me a doer of good deeds. I think he's speaking about a son. Yes. So my Lord, grant me a doer of good deeds. So we gave him the good news of a forbearing son. And then it talks about their relationship, like, the matriculation of their relationship and what it came to, that he knew not what he was asking for, but when Allah tries us through what we desire as well, but the realization is we desired it. We just, if we're not so specific, Allah is going to grant it to us. He's already said that so many times, that he will give us, if it's good for us, if it's pleasing to him by his permission, he will grant us our prayers. And then let's see. So, okay, so this is a lot of parts, but Moses, Aaron, Elias, and Lot, this is Surah 112. And we gave him the good news of Isaac, a prophet, a righteous one. And we blessed him and Isaac, and of their offspring, some are doers of good, but some are clearly unjust to themselves. And then it says, and certainly we conferred a favor on Moses and Aaron, and we delivered them and their people from the mighty distress, and we helped them. So they were the vanquishers. And so what I got from that also was just that, like, well, with that part about like Moses and Aaron, is that I recall Moses stumbling on the bush and Allah speaking to him and directing him on what to do. But then I'm realizing, oh my goodness, no, that started because Moses was already trying to deliver his people. He had already started a process, and Allah came and said, okay, well, you do this, because Allah doesn't, I don't want to say this wrong, but he changes the condition when we change our behavior to a degree. Like, I mean, I'm just summating that a little bit, but just that, the good news of his servants and servants and servants. So what I'm getting at here, just to like conclude what I'm saying, because I do have a few other parts, but I'm gonna leave it alone. Is that Allah loves those who serve. And so when I think about my life right now, the biggest blessing that the Nation of Islam, oh Lord have mercy, it's like so much gratitude that like I just feel bursting out. Like, it's been such a blessing to me, because when I came in, I was just straight focused on being a servant, a soldier, and learning and training and I had no idea what that meant. I was just willing to work and serve, work and serve. And I did it because I felt so called to do it, and it felt good. As a Muslim, before, it was such a private thing for me. It was my personal process of, yes, I'm a Muslim, I'm a doer of good, I blah, 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 like just different things. But coming into the Nation of Islam and writing my letter, what that did for me was when my mom asked, like, you're already Muslim. Like, when I got my letter and I was so happy, we were in the car and she was like, you're already Muslim. Why are you so like happy? And I was like, because we call people to the faith as well. We like, this is a bit different for me. We serve those who don't have the message yet. And so I will end on the idea of eminence, because in Surah 38, this is Sa'd. He starts by, in the name of Allah, the beneficent, the merciful, truthful God, by the Quran possessing eminence. Then I had to, that felt so good to me again, this whole royal idea. Eminence means fame or recognized superiority, especially within a particular sphere or profession. And it made me think about Brother Saad and like the benefits that he's brought to our nation through the Nation's program and other avenues as well, and how hard he works to be a doer of good in all the books that he's written on the minister and the truth. And I'm just thinking, like, man, that's true eminence, to be a servant. The hardest I've ever soldiered and worked, I got engaged the day after I came back from the hardest Savior's Day, that like I worked 5 days straight, hardly any sleep, came back home, and literally off the plane was proposed to. And so it's the biggest gift from Allah. The good news is, the children, that when I see my children glorify, like my child glorify Allah, like what? Hold on, what am I looking at? Thank you, Allah, for what you have provided. And so I'm just full of gratitude, and I'm gonna end right there. That's the truth.
Oh, praise is due to Allah. Thank you, Sister Mariama. Oh my gosh. Your testimony is so beautiful. Thank you. Thank you so much. And it's so, so true. What you said, it's important also to know that people need to see. That's being an example also. People need to see us serving or us doing good. And it's in secret and openly. Like, there's a verse, I don't know exactly which one it is. I know I can find it, but it's in secret and openly. And Allah knows what we do in secret and what we do openly. But it's true. I agree that also showing or being open and not always keeping everything in secret is important, because we are people that when we see, we are inspired. And I know for me, when I see, I am so inspired. I'm inspired by you right now, Sister Mariama. I'm inspired by all the sisters on the call and brothers, because we are so different, but we all reflect Allah's attributes. And I see it every day on social media even. I see it at the mosque. I see it in real life. I see it in wherever I go. People reflect Allah's attribute, and it's inspiring. But all praise be to Allah. Thank you so much, Sister Mariama. That was a word, okay? Is there anyone else that would like to leave a comment, say a comment? Oh, I wanted to add this last thing, because I guess it's a little testimony for me. When I did my fast, my first time ever fasting for 3 days, I was hoping, I was looking for someone that had done it that shared their experience, like even on a blog or on a website or something about fasting and how they did it and everything. And I didn't find it. So I told myself, oh, I'm going to just do it for me. And, if it inspires others, that's good. But I'm going to do it because I need a reminder. If I'm successful, I need a reminder so I can do it again. If I'm not successful, I'll see my mistakes. So I did it, and someone told me, it was on TikTok, someone told me, why are you sharing this? Like, that's your personal business with Allah, with God. So why are you sharing this? And I felt guilty for like a second. I was like, he's right. Like, why am I sharing this? I forgot why I wanted to share it. So I was like, why am I sharing this? And then I, right away, in my mind, reminded myself, it's not to show people like, oh, me. It was for me. I wanted to inspire myself. Anything I post is for me. I don't really, like, if I did it for others, I would never do it. I would never post it. I do it for me mostly, to remind myself, to show myself where I was mentally at a certain place in time. So then when I reminded myself of that, I was like, well, and I explained to him, it is my business with Allah, but I have so much going on with Allah than this fast. Like, this is personal with Allah and with myself and with my health and with my nation. But this is not the only thing that I got going on with Allah. And I told him that. And but then a brother, Dr. Akili, is my doctor. He told me, he was like, I'm very happy that you shared that, because it's possible, because I've never done it, because I was like, after one day, I'm too hungry, I can't do it. And when he told me to try to fast, I was like, I'm probably not gonna make it. That's what I told him. So when I was able, by the grace of Allah, it's all because of Allah. But that feeling of guilt of what that person said went away, because it's not about me. I don't care about me, but someone that will do their fast for the first time can find this video if they want to. But anyway, that's my comment. Going further with sister. Oh, brother Demetrius, go ahead, brother.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to, because I got the paper in front of me now, I just wanted to read it real quick, what I was talking about earlier, concerning the time for the Savior's Day. It says the theme for this year's Savior's Day convention is taken from the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, verse 11, which states in part, quote, put on the whole armor of God that you may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil, end quote. And these are, it says every presentation that will take place during the convention is to arm the believer with the impenetrable armor of God, that they can make it through the final chapter excuse me, of the end of the world of Satan. Student Minister Ishmael Muhammad, National Assistant to the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, told the Final Call newspaper in a previous interview. So I just wanted to read that, just the exact wording. And for any of us that aren't going to make it to Chicago, which inshallah I can see all of you, and especially everybody from the master call can get a picture together. But even if you don't make it, just to keep in mind that tone, you know what I'm saying, whether you see the presentations in person or not. But that's all I just wanted to share. And I have to go too. So assalamu alaikum. Appreciate you all.
All praise be to Allah. Walaikum salam, Brother Demetrius. Thank you so much for that. And can you post it also in the chat, please, in the group chat, so that we can have it there too? Thank
My
you so
pleasure.
much, Brother Demetrius. Have a blessed day. And everyone, is there anyone that would like to pray as we conclude, family? If you would like to pray, go ahead and unmute yourself. No, ma'am, I'm just driving. I'm going to very dark class at the same time. Okay.
Did anyone say they can pray?
No, not yet.
No, I was talking to the call.
Okay, thank you, Brother
I
Demetrius.
can real quick, sister. Well, not real quick, but I can. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Hold on, Sister Octavia was connecting. Okay. Attention prayer. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord of the worlds, the Beneficent, the Merciful, Master of the Day of Judgment in which we now live. Thee alone do we serve, and Thee alone do we beseech for help. Guide us on the right path, the path of those upon whom Thou hast bestowed favors, not the path of those whom Thy wrath is brought down, nor of those who go astray after hearing Thy teachings. Ameen.
I mean,
All praise be to Allah. Please, sisters and brother, have a beautiful day. Please take a walk if you can. And I love you so much. See you tomorrow. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.
salam.